Hey everybody, it's Live App Review episode 31, I think. I'm here with Dorian Critcher, and we are going to take a repo that we've talked about probably like 10 different times on Live App Review called the NFT Market repo, and we are going to deconstruct it, and we're going to take it apart, and we're going to rip out a bunch of code because we need a standard example of just the NFT standard implementation. So we want to cut out everything with the marketplace, the fungible tokens, the royalties, the bidding, all of that stuff. And we're going to actually reference the non-fungible token standard in the nomicon.io, which I'll visit in a bit. And we're going to go back and forth and make sure that we check that we've stripped down this NFT market repo and all of those contracts into just a contract that is a simple NFT. And then maybe if time permitting, we'll fix up some of the JavaScript kind of app tests or look into the front end a little bit and see what we can do. So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen, and Dorian, please, ask questions and interrupt as much as you want. And let's figure this out.
Let's do it.
Don't want to be in my Discord, but that's just me and Dorian chatting, so that's okay. So where do I want to go? I want to go to my IDE, and actually I want to, I had a window open there. That's also safe window. Okay, I'm going to click all the wrong windows. Back into Discord. I did want to open up a new browser window, actually, new Brave window. There we go. Yeah, my lovely Google Earth background. So I want to go to nomicon.io. Actually, I mentioned that we would start there, and I want to look at the down in the bottom left-hand side, the non-fungible token standard here. So we're going to start from what is a non-fungible token standard, but it's been expanded on quite a bit, called the NFT market repo under near apps. So this one here, I'll make that a little bigger. So this is kind of a complicated repo because there's a fungible token, a marketplace, and an NFT all in one. And we want to get this down to just an NFT. And the NFT that we want is this one. If you look at the NFT contract from the NFT market repo, it's actually much more complex than the NFT standard, because I added a whole bunch of stuff here labeled custom. I'm in a clone version of the repository, and I already deleted the fungible token folder and the market simple folder. So I've already gotten rid of those contracts because this repo will not have those. And I named the repo, I've cloned the NFT market, but I renamed it NFT Simple. I'm also going to do a little thing. I'm just making my screen bigger. I'm going to do a little thing, get remote remove origin, I think is the one, because I don't want to actually copy over the NFT market repo. I'm going to add a new origin later. I'm going to commit this, and then Dorian's going to take it over and build, our awesome NFT example for examples.near.org. So let's go through this contract really quick, and let's just get rid of all this stuff that says custom. And then what we'll try to do is we'll try to get it to compile first, make sure it's all good. I have a lot of cool syntax highlighting for Rust and like warnings and stuff. So we'll probably, be able to do this pretty quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of a bunch of that custom stuff. And right away, you'll see a bunch of stuff lights up, and it says, warning. Oh, I'm also going to close all my other tabs. I was in the middle of a project. Close others. Okay, so let's get rid of that custom token stuff and make sure, just double check for sanity that I'm in NFT Simple and not some other project. And I'm butchering all of the code. Okay, so let's get rid of, I labeled everything I could with custom fields so that I knew what was custom. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of these. And I just want to explain for the people watching, in the NFT market repo, the NFT contract has the concept of token types, and So it's kind of like has a bit of a multi-token kind of thing going on, which is non-standard. Just want to let everybody know. We're working on making a multi-token standard where you can have different token types in one NFT contract. But for now, it's sort of just like, it's sort of the NFT market implementation is sort of a multi-token standard. You can enforce the supply of each of the groups of tokens in your contract. So you can basically say, okay, I've got token type A, token type B, token type C, and each one of those has a maximum allowed limit of 1,000. And once you do that, not even the contract owner can mint over and above those. So I'm just explaining some of this logic here. Obviously, you won't need these arguments or parameters for the constructor. So you just get rid of those. Take all that out. And a lot, it's all labeled here custom. A lot of this stuff is just custom. There's custom views. So you can see which token types were locked. I had the option of unlocking and locking transfers for tokens. So for example, if you released a bunch of tokens and you airdrop them, but you didn't want people to put them on a marketplace for a particular period of time, you could airdrop them, but the tokens would be locked. So anyway, just some stuff that, you know, some people wanted, like some actual like near partners wanted. So I had originally built that in, but I'm going to get rid of all of that. So that's in lib.rs. So in the NFT, in any of these like kind of token contracts, you're going to have lib.rs, which is like the jumping off point. That's like the main kind of home base of your contract. And then you're going to have, in a lot of the contracts that you'll see that me and the rest of the near team build, you're going to see an internal RS. So those are some internal methods that we're trying to keep out of the sort of like the WASM scope. What I mean by that is that when we compile it to WASM, they won't show up as methods. I think it just kind of completely leaves their method signature out and it like compiles them internally. I don't know a lot about how all this like WASM kind of stuff works, but I do know that we use this for like just internal helper methods, and then those are internal helper methods for the entire crate or the entire kind of Rust project, and then there's internal helper methods for the contract itself. So you can see that these are implemented under the contract itself because they need to self-reference, you know, fields of the contract. So for example, the contract owner. So if you want to have a helper method called assert, well, that basically asserts that only the owner can call the method, you have assert owner here. And if I go back and undelete this stuff, you'll see that I'm using that here. So those internal methods are basically like internal helpers. You can think of them as like little utility methods. I can see by the red highlight here that there's some errors here. And that's because I have some of the custom logic here, and it's now referencing fields or like data, you know, data on my contract that doesn't exist anymore. So for example, the value token type locked doesn't exist, you know, so I need to go get rid of all this stuff. So that's why I started with lib.rs. I got rid of all the possible custom, you know, data types. And now I just have to go squash all of the uses of those data types. So I can see all of this stuff. So it's super helpful. So now I just got rid of that, and internal seems to be fine. So I'll close that. Next, I'm going to jump into, I think I'll jump into Mint because it's like a super easy method. So this is just an example of minting like an NFT. But of course, if you have a token type, I have a whole bunch of like crazy extra custom stuff on top of this. So you're going to want to get rid of all of that. I do have a custom royalty implementation for tokens, but I think I'm going to leave this in, Dorian, because I think in the example that you boot up, like almost everyone wants to add royalties to NFTs, or at least have the ability to add them in the future. So I think we'll leave this part in about royalties because it's it's helpful for people. I did get rid of the royalty cap, so I'm gonna get rid of this assertion and we're just gonna leave it open. And then, you know, if people add like like 100% royalty, then I guess if you own the NFT and then you sell the NFT, you won't get the money, which would be kind of funny. But I'll leave it up to you and kind of like where you want to go with this NFT Simple example. But I'm just going to cut out. I'm going to cut out a lot of stuff, and then what we can do is if we want to bring back any controls or any special fields that we think are like really useful above the standard, we can do that too. But the one thing I am going to leave in here above the standard is just the royalties themselves.
I think it's useful. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be useful, right? And then build something up around that. So I got rid of all of this stuff. Looks like it's having trouble with token now because I removed token type. So now it's saying, oh, missing field token type. This isn't a valid token. Now token isn't having any trouble here, but what do I know is I want to remove the multi-token stuff. So I want to get rid of that. But I'm going to leave in the royalties. And now it looks like mint is okay. So the minting method is now fine because it creates a token. That's all good. And now the next thing, internal's having some trouble now. So we got to go back and do that. This is kind of like a live app review / contract review, because it's predominantly going to be contract, but it's like in reverse. It's like we're going backwards.
Contract construction.
We're building a smart contract by deleting a bunch of stuff. If you want, we can like we could like do that like talk backwards kind of thing where we go like
yeah, you know, like it's like do the entire thing in reverse. Our voices, everything. I can just do that on the spot. It's fine.
actually, you know what? I have like a video editing program. I should just reverse the video recording and then upload it.
And then you can see how the contract's built.
That would be cool. Yeah. And it'll look like one of those cool things like where they film like somebody dumping a bunch of water, but then they film it backwards and it just goes like shoot. Okay, but let's get back to enumerable.rs. So what is enumeration? It's defined in the standard here. And basically it says that there should be these view methods for getting supply by owner, but you'll notice that there's nothing about supply by type or tokens by type. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of those now. And that should clean up enumerable. And then I'm going to go to NFT core. Now there's some tricky stuff in here. I think it might be tricky. Yeah, it's around the contract royalty. So I probably deleted the field for the contract to take an additional royalty on top of each individual NFT's token royalty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all of this. And, you know, if you want to add stuff like that back in, you can figure that out from just going back to the NFT market repo. Let me just double check the logic here. So we're going to iterate through the royalties. Yeah, there's a total perpetual royalty here from the token itself. And then the previous owner of the token, which is the seller, gets 100% minus the total perpetual percent of the balance. So again, sorry, but like I've been sort of like deep in this NFT stuff and this royalty stuff, but I mean, if you don't get it, but like just you'll have some time to like kind of look at the code. I'd like to get to more of that sort of like fixing up the app test and stripping out all of the funky stuff there, so that Dorian can like kind of build on top. Let's get rid of token type here. I guess we don't need any of this. Token type, final message. I don't even know what that is. When did I do this?
Some token type equals token type.
I really don't know. Oh, sending the token type as a message to the marketplace. Oh man, that's really funny stuff that I did that. That's hilarious because it's Yeah, I think I remember when I did this, because you can't trust the user to supply their own token type, because they might lie about the type of their token before it gets posted on a marketplace. So what I did was I actually inserted, like, a comma, token type is this, into a JSON string that gets passed in a cross contract call to the marketplace. So what you do is, when you want to post your token up for sale, you say, I have an NFT and I want to put it up for sale for 1 near token. Now, if your NFT is part of some token type, I go get the token type from the actual token itself, not from you. So I don't let you supply your token type, because otherwise you're going to hit the sale contract and you could have the user submitting a bogus token type. And then now you've got this sale and it's happening in this token type, but it's the wrong token type. And, users are just kind of like, they're kind of making a mess of the marketplace. So in this case, we only have to trust the NFT contract. And what I do is I just stick on the token type using kind of like JSON syntax, which is, by the way, not a good idea. Other people should probably not do this, but that's how I did it, because I knew kind of like what I was doing. But I don't necessarily think it's perfect. It's not a good solution. So I would just say you send through the message. That's how the NFT standard is going to do it.
Okay.
So this is approving NFTs on a marketplace. Sorry, do you have a question, Dorian?
Yeah, so like, okay, so essentially like this, what it did before was like it took the responsibility of like defining the token type out of the user's hands and left it in the hands of the smart contract or the application or the front end application. Or is this
exactly? So basically, when you approve a token to be sold on a marketplace, you can add an optional string to the method call. So like you say, hi, I'm user, Bob.near, and I want to NFT approve my NFT to be sold on, Dorian's marketplace. And the user can pass in this message variable, which is just a string of JSON, and it's expecting, some sort of sale information, like put it up for sale in near and make it 1 near token. And if you let the user specify like token type, right, they can lie or they can forget, or there could be some bad interface that's not putting the right token type with Bob's actual token. So what I did was I just kind of stuck it on this message variable. So in comes a string. I know it's a JSON string. And so what I do is I replace the last, I replace a tiny piece of the string, and I sort of take the last occurrence of, I think I took the last occurrence of like a curly bracket, and instead I shoved in comma, some more information about token type, like token type equals this, right? Or token type, because it's JSON, token type : the actual token type. So basically what I did was I kind of like hijacked the message that was coming in from the user prior to it going to the marketplace.
That makes sense.
Just some little like, some shady sort of craftery.
Trust no one.
Yeah, well, don't trust my code. That's all I can say. Just kidding. But yeah, I mean, so sometimes, a hack is a hack and a hack works, right? Okay, so I got rid of what looked to be all of the errors. So what we have to do now is we have to go into the NFT Simple contract here, and we have to see if it will actually build. So in all of our examples, we usually have a little build script here. So I'm going to call build.sh, and I'm going to see if it actually builds. So just because it doesn't complain about, the syntax of the files doesn't mean that it's not going to have trouble. Just checking, the near SDK is 3.10. That's the latest. Okay, so we're getting some warnings here, so that's good to know. So it's warning us about unused variables.
Mhm.
So like total perpetual in the mint, let's take a look. It's calculated but never actually used. And that's because I remember I took out the part that enforces it. So forget about it. It's gone. It's gone. It's dead. And then in NFT core, or sorry, in internal, we no longer have a need for the assert owner method. But what I'm going to do is it's such a useful method. I'm actually not going to delete it. I'm going to comment it. And that will just take it out of the build so we won't get a warning.
Is that just like, just to be clear, the assert owner method, like what's it doing here? I just want to know.
That's for the contract owner. So basically, if you're the NFT contract owner, and then let's say we have some special methods just for the NFT contract owner. For example, like you don't have to have your NFT mint method be open to just anyone minting. And by the way, it probably shouldn't, because in this example, I don't know if we actually, oh yeah, we charge for storage. So basically in this example, anyone can mint. Let's actually, Dorian, that's a great point. Let's use it. Let's put it in front of mint. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to self assert owner. And that means that the contract owner is the only one that can call NFT mint.
Whoa. Okay. So like, so with this, okay. So would this allow like, does this mean like only one user can ever mint NFTs, or like only like one like application like this, like, yeah, it's one of the
only the account that either deployed this contract, or if you look at the constructor here, let me just slide this over. The owner was passed in. So for example, I make an account on the Near blockchain called, like NFT.near. Then I call the new, so I deploy the contract bytes, like the actual WASM file. Then I specify that Dorian.near is the owner of the contract. So now you, Dorian, are the actual owner of this NFT contract, which means that you can basically, do anything you want with regards to minting. You're the only one that can mint.
And like, so if like a user, say like if a user comes on and comes onto the application, wants to mint their own NFTs, like would they be allowed to do that or no? Like,
no, because of this.
Okay.
So if you want to open it up to everybody, you just get rid of it.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Now it's open to everybody, but notice it's payable, and they have to pay, at the very least, they have to pay the storage to store the NFT.
Got it. Okay.
So that the contract doesn't run out of Near tokens for storage. Remember?
Does that macro come from like the just like the Near like SDK?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, so that's what assert owner does. So I'm going to basically write a comment here, and I'm going to say only the contract owner can mint NFTs. So now we basically have what is a standard NFT Simple. What I'm going to do now, Dorian, is I'm just going to quickly run through these app tests, and I'm going to rewind it hardcore, like, because check out how many tests there were for NFT Market. There's a lot of tests. It's like crazy. And it's because NFT Market has a whole like scenario that you need to like kind of go down, like you need people bidding and people, people purchasing non-fungible tokens with fungible tokens and stuff. So I had this whole complicated setup where I could basically test all of the different ways that you could put NFTs up for sale in a marketplace, buy, sell, bid, all of that stuff. Just give me 1 sec. I just got to grab something. Where's my little Zoom thing? Just 1 sec. All right. Okay. So, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a real kind of like butchering job here now on this contract or this testing. I'm going to actually go all the way back, and I'm going to start maybe all the way back at Alice mints and see, even this is too intense, right? Like Alice mints an NFT and approves it for sale for a fixed amount of near. That's not even going to work. So basically, I'm going to go all the way back to, I guess, just there. And I'm going to delete all that. Don't worry, it's safe in the NFT market repo. And then we got to get rid of all of this stuff about marketplace and all of this stuff about fungible tokens. We got to get rid of all of that. And we got to get all this stuff about adding token types. We got to get all this. There's no contract royalty anymore. There's just Alice and Bob. Life is so much more simple when it was just Alice and Bob. And we'll get rid of this storage market. We don't need that. I think we can keep it really simple here. We'll leave this. That's sort of like just a helper that I use, contract ID. So contract ID is the NFT contract ID. Let's keep these metadatas because they could be useful. Let's get rid of contract royalty. Let's get rid of token IDs. But what we're going to do is we'll do something different. We will do token IDs, but we're going to do like, we'll just do like an ABC or something, like really quick. And just to make them dynamic, we're just gonna we'll just keep this like labeling here where it'll be like A1, B2, C3. We'll just leave it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And then I always store like a time thing because, so let me try to explain this for people. Like when you deploy a contract and then you run a test, you obviously put data into a contract. So the next time you run your test, if you have not redeployed your contracts, which can be sometimes a kind of like a waiting game, like you have to redeploy your accounts, redeploy your contracts. If you run a test like 2 times and you're using the same the same IDs and the same stuff. Oh, which reminds me, that's a good point. It's going to have to be A dash plus now. And the reason why is because every time you run a test, you're going to need to use new token IDs. And if you look at Alice and Bob, look at their names. It's Alice dash now, right? Bob dash now. So basically every time you rerun the test, you're going to get a new date.now, like a new number, right? And then your next test will be with those values, right? You won't need this too. That's from the marketplace stuff. And a lot of this stuff I'll sort of just leave just in case it sort of comes back if we do more tests. But we should be able to check NFT supply for owner, it should be 0. And we should NFT tokens for owner, it should be 0 for Bob. So we're checking against Bob, but Bob should have no tokens at this point. And let's comment out this test. And let's see if we can actually just get the test runner to run. So what I usually do is I run yarn test deploy. So what this does is yarn test would just run this file, but yarn test deploy will actually, it's actually going to destroy the current dev account. So you always have, or you typically have, oh, first I have to actually do yarn. So let me just do that while I'm talking. So typically you would have a near dev folder and we're going to get our first near dev folder. But when I run test deploy, what it does is it removes the near dev folder. So it removes the dev account, then it creates a brand new one. Then it deploys the contracts there, and then it runs the test. Actually, just reminding me, there's some other thing that would have it would have made your life really not fun, Dorian. Under build contracts, it's building NFT Simple, great, thumbs up. But it's also trying to build every other contract that doesn't exist anymore. So that's no good. So what we have to do is, I think we need to leave that there too. We have to back out of the directory. The reason why I know people are going to say, but dude, you can do those commands with like brackets and then you don't have to do the dot dot. And I'm like, great, yeah, but it doesn't work in some like Windows and PowerShell environments. So like, don't worry, I'm thinking about everybody. So anyway, that should be enough for the contracts. So let's get rid of that and let's do the yarn test deployed. The suspense is killing me. Will it work? Probably not. But you got to learn by failing, right?
Yeah, doesn't hurt to hope though. Oh, maybe it doesn't. Yeah.
Maybe it's gonna work. It looks like it might work. Oh, you know what's gonna fail? This. Yeah, because we don't have these arguments anymore. So the init is gonna fail. Oh, it worked? What? No way.
Wow.
How did it work? I don't even have these arguments. Oh, you know what? I guess it worked because you can actually send more arguments to a method than it actually accepts. So that's kind of a happy occurrence. Okay, so it worked. So that's cool. So basically, by the way, the file that I opened up really quick there was just under the test folder. There's a couple of files that you should get acquainted with, and it's the near utils, which basically sets up the entire near. It sets up the entire near environment for tests, and then test utils are basically just like kind of like that internal RS file that I mentioned earlier. It's just basically like a bag. It's like a big bag of helper functions or methods, whatever. What's the difference between a method and a function? Do we know?
Is a method like something that's like that exists within a class or a or like a struct, and then like
yeah, that's right. A method's associated with an object. So yeah. I guess it's really funny in the near blockchain because we say method a lot because it's associated with the contract. But what really messes me up from saying method all the time or 100% of the time is this. Look at our near API.js view function. And then, down here, I have it commented, but down here, function call, so like, what are we doing? So anyway, so that's why I always kind of like blurt it out and I say one or the other, but let's take a look at minting an NFT here. Let's see if we can get Alice to mint an NFT. Let's check. We do want to do one of these view function calls, but we want to call there is no market. We want to call we're going to get the NFT token, and then we're going to check the owner. So we're going to check token ID is the token ID of the one that Alice just minted. And then we're just going to check and make sure that the token.owner ID is equal to, I have a handy dandy little variable I saved there called Alice ID. And it's not a sale, it's a token. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get one of the token IDs we made before. Remember, it was like a dash some timestamp :1. That's going to be like one of our token IDs. So it's just Alice mints an NFT. Okay, I'm just going to go lowercase. I try to keep this like language as simple as possible. It's all sorts of like proper English, Basically, Alice mints an NFT, and she should be able to specify, see, we got token type there. She should be able to specify metadata, perpetual royalties, all of this good stuff. By the way, these accounts, they do exist. They exist somewhere, like somewhere on the near blockchain, on testnet. I made them all. I was testing the wallet last summer, and I probably made like 1,000 accounts to test the near wallet when we were building it. So I made like, everything from like A through Z and numbered 1 through 10 to be like as lazy as possible. Actually, I probably didn't do A through Z. I did every key that was close to where my left hand rests on the keyboard. So I could quickly hammer out like ASD, I'm pretty sure I have like W1, W2, W3, like all of this stuff. So anyway, these folks are going to get the perpetual royalties, and we'll just see if that works. So we shouldn't have to deploy the contract again. We should just be able to run yarn test, because all we changed was the test. So this is another helpful tip when you're using repos like that come from me, and you see this like app.test.js file, you basically have two options to run your test. You can do a full redeployment of the contract, which is going to wipe out everything, all of the contract state, all of the stuff. That's typically when you're building your contract. Oh no, we'll look into this in a sec. And then you can do a yarn test when you just change the test. So let's see what happened here. Oh, it's an owners only method. Remember?
Oh,
so
yeah.
It said only the contract owner can mint an NFT. So let's actually go get that account. That's called, I call that the contract account. Okay. So now we can actually replace Alice. So we'll say contract account mints NFT. Contract account's going to mint it. And then of course, we're checking if it goes to contract ID. So basically, instead of Alice, it's now contract account. Contract account is going to check their own token, and then they're going to look to see if the owner ID is in fact themselves. So let's run that. And again, I'm using yarn test, not test deploy, because I don't need to redeploy the contracts.
And what's in the what do you have for the metadata here?
Oh, that's just a URL for media. So just some URL here. Yay, we passed.
Haha.
You know what, Dorian? Everybody's a winner today that isn't in Miami. Just kidding. Everyone, me and Dorian are kind of jealous. Everyone went to Miami and me and Dorian are still working. They're all like networking. They're probably like on a beach with like Pitbull or something, you know? It's like
Casually. That's
yeah.
fine.
Maybe they're at some club with Pitbull. Always something with Pitbull because it's Miami. I don't know. I'm just joking. I don't know. I don't really actually know anything about Miami. So
Oh, same. I've never actually been there.
all right, man. So that's actually a lot for today. So I think that's like good enough. So it gets people. So this new NFT Simple repo will get people basically a simple NFT contract that they can kind of, oh, I'm going to get rid of this burn file, by the way. It's currently not used, but I was experimenting with token burning, but I think I deleted it from the NFT market, or no, I guess I didn't delete it from the NFT market repo, but I don't think it's used here anywhere. But basically you have a NFT Simple that follows the non-fungible token standard here. This is at nomicon.io. So nom, like nom nom, like you're eating something. nomicon.io. And it's under our standards, non-fungible token standard on the bottom left-hand corner. This NFT Simple repo will soon be up under NFT apps. I'm going to create it right after we stop this recording. And you'll be able to go to near-app, github.com, near-apps/NFT Simple. And instead of seeing this dude, you'll see the repo that we were just working on. And basically, Dorian is going to put like a very, very simple front end on top of this where I don't know what you're going to do, Dorian, but I think like the funnest thing would be to maybe like maybe allow people to like you could get rid of the only owner thing on the minting. So you could always just get rid of this line and you just delete it. And then you could have a simple app where users can sign in with the Near wallet and they can mint something, and the metadata that they can use would just be some URL of some image. You know, I always use these URLs of these GIFs that some folks made from the Near ecosystem. And then, because they're really funny. Check this out. That's Ilya, our co-founder, and it's like Near Punk 2077. Remember that terrible video game that launched with Keanu Reeves?
Did that game like get like canceled for like all of its like glitches or something?
that game got canceled hard. Anyway, so yeah, so this is kind of fun. But what could be cool, I gotta get rid of this window. What could be cool is that if you do remove this only owner, you know, users just have to attach a tiny bit of Near to pay for storage, and then they can sign in with their Near wallet. Then they can come to the app and they can create NFTs. Now, obviously, because we have no marketplace, you can't like put up NFTs for sale or do any of this other stuff. But you could simply have like a front end app where you can at least demonstrate like the cycle of like minting. So like sign in, mint an NFT, look at your NFT, mint another one, look at all of your NFTs, like, you know, if you have more than one. Because you can do that using this enumerable stuff here, right? So you can get all of the NFT tokens, or you can get only the NFT tokens for a particular owner, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got some warning here. It's probably like bad code, bad code.
That's
Just kidding.
Like, not even like not
I think I know what this warning's about, but it doesn't know what it's talking about there. Anyway, so yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, like maybe for the front end. But now you've got this NFT Simple repo that you can start to build on. So what I'll do is I'll invite you as a collaborator on GitHub. You can build up the front end for the NFT Simple repo, and then we can smash it all together. Sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording now, so that we have a nice live app review. Thanks, Dorian.
Thanks, everybody.